Mahomes did last night?
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Did you see what happened?
Scumbag. What the hell?
What is he doing? Jey Uso, obviously, the yeet man himself.
Yeah.
Because to the house, yeet, goddamn. To the house, yeet, God, you get it.
Right.
He's yeeting all over everywhere.
Always. Multiple times.
Everybody's yeeting with him. I mean, we're in Kansas City last night, whole place yeeting.
Place was soaked.
The week before that, we were in bingo. Can't even do it.
Oh, the week before, that was the week of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah.
All right. These things all
kind of MVP winning, multi-time playoff going, all these yards and accolades. But until you get Super Bowl MVP, it just moves your name to a completely different thing.
We're back. TSL Locker Room. Super Bowl 59 is in the books, and the Kansas City Chiefs were denied that historic repeat, but we're not talking about just the game.
Credit to the Eagles, man. They played better than us from start to finish. We didn't start how we wanted to. Obviously, the turnovers hurt. I mean, I take all the blame for that. I mean, those early turnovers swing the momentum of the game, and then they capitalized on them. They scored on the one, and then they got a touchdown immediately after. So that's 14 points that I kind of gave them, and it's hard to come back from that in the Super Bowl. And so just didn't play to my standard. And
Hold up for a second, because the magnitude of what just unfolded is massive. Patrick Mahomes, 3 Super Bowl rings, arguably the most dominant quarterback brand in the NFL, the face the league has leaned on for the past half-decade, just watched Shedeur Sanders land one of the most jaw-dropping deals the sports world has ever seen. We're talking about a 2026 partnership with the Saudi Public Investment Fund that didn't just rattle the NFL, it sent shockwaves through the entire global sports economy. And here's where things get awkward, because the reason Mahomes suddenly looks like he just swallowed something he can't quite process is pretty simple. Only weeks before that deal exploded across headlines, Mahomes publicly took a shot at Sanders, and the internet did what it always does. It clipped it, saved it, and now it's replaying everywhere under stories about Sanders' massive Saudi-backed payday. Mahomes has rarely had to face this kind of instant public reversal. But Sanders didn't just prove the criticism wrong, he flipped the entire conversation on a scale far bigger than football. And when those deal figures started circulating online, the expression on Mahomes' face told the whole story. That's the look of someone realizing in real time that every word they said just came back to haunt them. So yeah, we need to break this entire situation down, because there's a lot more going on here than people realize.
Recovery for you guys.
Thank you. I feel like I am getting a cardio together for TST. And Jey Uso is beloved.
Yeah.
Not only because of the yeet, but his story. In last night, Logan Paul, with an assist from the Judgment Day, came out and started attacking. That's Jey Uso getting attacked by Finn Balor and just dumb McDonough right there. The man with the head on the left. That's JD McDonough. Logan Paul, founder of Prime, comes over to Prime Athlete. Patrick Mahomes is in front row, and he usually uses brass knucks. Didn't have his.
So I don't know Pat Mahomes. Right? I know Pat. You don't know Baby D, right? And when I seen this yesterday, I said, ooh, the league is in trouble. Because one thing about Patrick Mahomes, the greatest players I've been around, the Toms, right? The Pats, they are super competitive. I'm talking about, they don't lose nothing. Card games, chess, checkers, tic-tac-toe, they got attitudes that they lose. He's like that. I give you 2 scenarios. One, we playing the Bears, right? And Mr. Trubisky, I think, is the quarterback. Now, I don't be following all that with draft picks. I don't care about none of that. Now, I'm on a team. I wasn't even playing, so I had a lot to do. And y'all know how I am. I'm not an instigator, but I like to be the hype man sometimes. And he was so, pissed off playing his game. I'm thinking, we're about to smoke the Bears. So look, as we get into the game, right, he's so focused, whatever, we start playing, he scores a touchdown, right? He starts doing he's counting. I said, okay, is he gonna get 4 touchdowns? Okay. He scored again. He started doing it again. So I'm like, yo, why he keep doing that? What's going on? Now when I get the Pro Bowl, oh, okay. So you think Joe Burrow's not in the playoffs? You think he's better than me? Oh, wait. You think Josh Allen?
Now let's rewind to the moment this entire situation really started, because the comment from Patrick Mahomes didn't appear out of thin air, and it definitely wasn't random. There was context behind it. There was a very specific moment when Mahomes decided, publicly, in front of millions, to downplay what Shedeur Sanders was building and what he symbolized in a fast-changing culture of NFL quarterbacks. The remark itself was subtle enough that some people brushed past it in real time, Mahomes was speaking during a routine media session, cameras on, reporters firing off the usual questions about the next quarterback class, rising young talent, and where the position is heading. And the second Sanders' name entered the conversation, Mahomes delivered the kind of response that sounds respectful on the surface, but carries a very different message underneath. He talked about proving yourself at the NFL level. He emphasized letting the film do the talking before business deals start moving faster than the football resume. Then, with a slight smile, the kind that says more than the words, he added that plenty of players arrive with massive hype, and the league tends to sort those situations out pretty quickly. He never actually said Sanders' name during the sharpest part of the comment. He didn't need to. Everyone sitting in that room and everyone watching from home knew exactly who he meant. The reporters caught it. The analysts caught it, executives around the league caught it, and most importantly, the people inside Sanders' circle caught it too. Now, to be fair, if you isolate that moment, you could argue Mahomes was simply being competitive, protecting the standard, doing what the league's top quarterback is expected to do, demand proof before handing out respect. That's a legitimate football argument, and in another situation, it might have landed completely differently. But here's why the comment rubbed people the wrong way. By that point, Sanders had already shown plenty, enough arm talent, enough football IQ, enough composure and pressure moments, enough of those intangible leadership traits that separate real franchise quarterbacks from temporary roster pieces, that the prove-it-first framing started to feel less like competition and more like deliberate dismissal, almost like an established superstar refusing to acknowledge something obvious, because recognizing it would mean admitting that a shift in power might be coming. And not everyone in the football establishment is comfortable with that.
Chiefs were denied that historic three-peat, but we're not talking about just the game. We're breaking down the impact, the legacy talk, as well as what comes next for some of the biggest names in the game. But I'm not by myself. I got my dog, former NFL defensive end, Stephen Weatherly, Vanderbilt in the building. What's up, homie?
What's up? What's up? Glad to be here. Glad that the Eagles won.
Thank you, brother. We know that former Vanderbilt players, Orenberg.
The internet never forgets, especially when it comes to the NFL. Clips get saved, screenshots get archived, and moments like that get bookmarked, just waiting for the perfect time to resurface. Well, that moment just arrived, and it came crashing in with the massive 2026 partnership between Shedeur Sanders and the Saudi Public Investment Fund, a deal that instantly turned Sanders into one of the most commercially powerful names in global sports. Now, let's actually break down what this PIF deal really is, because once you understand the scale of it, the comments from Patrick Mahomes don't just look mistaken, they start looking historically awkward in hindsight. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, the same sovereign wealth powerhouse that disrupted golf through LIV Golf and reshaped European soccer by backing Newcastle United, has been aggressively acquiring major sports assets around the world as part of a calculated global expansion strategy. And somewhere inside that strategy, they identified Sanders as a centerpiece for their 2026 push into the American football market. This wasn't some ordinary endorsement. This wasn't a shoe contract, an energy drink promo, or the usual athlete ambassador package most NFL quarterbacks carry. What Sanders secured was something far bigger, a structural partnership, one that positions him not just as a face of the brand, but as a stakeholder connected to the commercial infrastructure PIF is building around American football's future in international markets. Then the financial details started circulating, and that's when jaws dropped across the sports business world. Multiple insiders confirmed numbers so massive that seasoned analysts literally paused mid-tweet just to double-check what they were reading. Before even completing his first full NFL season, Sanders had locked in a global commercial alliance tied to one of the most powerful sovereign wealth funds in sports. And here's the key detail people keep missing. This didn't happen because of charity. It wasn't handed to him because of his father's influence. It wasn't driven by social media followers, draft hype, or any of the traditional metrics the old guard uses to measure quarterback value.
The most powerful sovereign wealth fund in international sports. not because of charity, not because of his father's connections, not because of social media following or draft position, or any of the metrics the old guard uses to evaluate quarterback value.
I'm gonna punk.
I completely agree, and I wasn't calling for that. But you're also not gonna tie your anchor to Logan Paul, the villain that he is, the Batman who's partnering with the Judgment Day. We're acting as if he's helping out these guys. See, look at this. He stares Braun Strowman in the face like, I don't care that you're a good guy. I'll smack you around too. See that right there? I'm not going anywhere. A lot of people said, he said, I'm here. But I didn't hear him say that. I heard him say,
no, he's just standing up in his city. This is his city.
Yeah,
Hey, Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey always go, excuse me.
Because when the Saudi Public Investment Fund evaluated Shedeur Sanders, they saw the exact same thing the franchise that drafted him saw. The same thing his coaching staff witnesses every single day on the practice field. The same thing anyone watching without bias has been recognizing for the past 2 years. A generational quarterback talent whose global brand is still only at the very beginning of its growth curve. They recognized the Colorado momentum around him. They understood the draft storyline. They saw the underdog narrative, the kind that connects across cultures, languages, and continents in a way that artificially manufactured stars simply can't duplicate. And they backed that belief with a check that reflected the full weight of that vision. Now, this is where the reaction from Patrick Mahomes becomes genuinely fascinating to watch unfold. Because the moment the PIF partnership news went public, that old clip of Mahomes' dismissive remarks started spreading across the internet again. But this time, the tone was completely different. People weren't sharing it as gossip anymore. They were sharing it as evidence, a timestamp reminder of the moment one of football's most respected voices publicly underestimated a player who had just secured one of the most powerful commercial partnerships the sport has seen in years. And the comment sections under every repost of that Mahomes clip exploded exactly the way you'd expect. But according to sources close to both sides, the reaction that actually carried the most weight wasn't online at all. It was inside NFL circles, among players, coaches, executives, agents, and the media voices who shaped the league's internal narrative. Now pay very close attention to this post-practice interview with Mahomes. This is someone who has been media trained since his college days, someone who understands cameras, headlines, and exactly how to control a message. Yet in this moment, when a reporter directly brings up Shedeur's new PIF partnership, there's a brief pause, a tiny recalibration. Watch the split second before he answers. Watch the careful effort to choose words that don't openly contradict what he said earlier, but create just enough distance so the two clips don't collide quite as cleanly when people start putting them side by side.
Or a big first down, which would deflate you and then they hit you over the top with a quick play action pass, they couldn't get that.
Yeah. Does Andy Reid leave or stay, or does Travis Kelce leave or stay? What are you thinking?
When you have someone with the arm talent of Patrick Mahomes, you're talking about a simple rebuild. Does Andy Reid have that in his arsenal? You would need to go back and look at a whole bunch of factors that GMs get looked at and get paid big bucks to do. From my novice position looking in,
He said Shedeur Sanders clearly has a lot of people who believe in him, and added that the business side of the league can surprise you sometimes. He mentioned respecting what Sanders was building. He even used the word impressive once, and honestly, it sounded like that word took real effort to say. That doesn't sound like the usual version of Patrick Mahomes we're used to hearing, the confident, free-flowing voice who talks easily about competition, football.